The reason for this speech is I was tasked with doing just one more speech for class, and it was a topic of my choice. I decided to do it on something that I'm familiar with, which is construction safety. So as you 3-4 know, I am in a construction industry job that I've been with the industry for about 7 years now. And a big part of my job is going on job sites and being around all the machinery, all the equipment, and it poses a really big threat to the livelihood of a lot of people, not including myself, but including those that I may manage or may work with. Just for starters, just last year the Bureau of Labor reported that there were 4,800 fatalities on job sites. So as you do the math, it's an alarming rate, and it's actually rising as opposed to lowering like it did 10 years ago. So it's actually a pretty big topic, and with that being said, I think that it's important to know why it's so important and what we can do to make sure that we're all safe here. So from a personal perspective, job site safety should be taken very seriously and very personally. If you feel like you've not gained the proper knowledge, or if you feel like you're on a job site and you don't know what to do or what the rules are, you need to find someone with a hard hat immediately who can direct you to a main office. Every job site has a main office that will have a safety book and have a safety inspector and engineer on the site, so that way you can get a quick training. If you're there for a few hours, you don't need to have a full training, but if you're there for more than one day, you're going to have to go through a inspection process and have to go through some sort of orientation. That way you can make sure that when you're on site, everything is understandable and you're aware of all the issues that you have on site. A few things that are on site that you need to watch out for from a perspective of a personal perspective, I should say. So let me go back one more page. I have it right here. Texting. The phone is a really big issue on job sites, as in the world. If you are looking down at your phone texting, you are going to trip, you can fall, you can not see someone, you can get harmed. Thank you, Minka. You can have something dropped on you. The really big, the big thing that we harp on job sites is always being able to look up and down and across and all around from you, because as you're walking through a certain hallway or corridor, you're always going to be in front of something going on. Whether someone's hammering down with the drill, or whether someone's working above you with dust or with any sort of debris, there always poses a risk, whether you're on stairs or you're just walking through the street or walking through the corridor. Texting is a very, very bad thing to do, not only in public but also on a job site. Believe it or not, these things have happened before, so they are mistakes that have been documented, and the reason why they are so important is because they've just been done time and time and again. Now, besides a public risk and a personal risk, a company risk is also a really big issue with safety. Companies, if they get too much dings on their records, they call them points, as if you were at a DMV, got in a car accident. So each company has to report each incident, whether it's at fault or not at fault. So if they have too many points, I should say, on their record, then they lose customers, they lose clients, and then from there on, companies can go bankrupt and they can lead into all kinds of different issues. So truly feel that you personally hold the company's livelihood in the palm of your hand. A number of things can happen directly, and that affects the company as a whole, and the company may face the problem of having to compensate a worker. It's just a really big issue legally, emotionally, physically. I know that we all love jobs, and if we're hurt, we can't do our jobs. So AFLAC can only do so much. It comes to a point where you need to have your livelihood in the best interest of your family. That leads me into my last section, if you would call it, proper construction attire. So I didn't have the items here with me, but the main things that we want to have on a job site are a hard hat, a vest, a nice shiny green vest with a reflective material like you've all seen, boots. Some job sites, they require steel toe boots, but most of them nowadays, you're okay with just regular boots as long as you follow the safety guidelines that are given to you. And then last but not least, eyewear. There are special glasses that you have to wear. You can't wear glasses like you have right here, Eduardo, because they have,
right here.
That's right, they pose a risk. If someone's cutting wood and the wood flies off, it can hit you in the corner of the eye. And the ones that are rated for construction, they have a visor, so you don't have to go and take things out of your eye. Last but not least is your hearing. everyone loves to hear. I know you would love to hear, but you can't. But they also sell plugs, and they're very, very important. You can't hear really well with them, but when you're going through really heavy, really large job sites, a lot of noise, a lot of stuff going on, and it's best to have those on at all times. Not required, but they should.
Do you wear hearing aids?
I do,
Do you
yes.
wear aids? Okay.
By company law or code,
Yeah,
I have to. There's a lot of fine print that goes into it, but decimal wise and how loud it is, our foremen know how loud it is and when I need to wear them, when I don't need to wear them. So at that point, I would put them on. Yes.
Why do you have to wear a hard hat?
Now, a hard hat is for things that hit your head. So if you were to walk through a little space and someone drops a hammer off their ladder, or a hammer if they're working on the roof, it can really hurt your head. So the hard hats are specially made with material so that it can only hurt you, or it shouldn't hurt you, but you can just feel a little ding on your head and you can keep going forward. If you drop a hammer from 10 feet above the floor, it can cause serious damage to your skull, and it can give you concussion, and it can also hurt your brain. So that's a rule that we follow, and we have to wear hard hats all the time. In certain cases, you can pass away, depending on how big the item is that's fallen from the floor or from the ceiling. You can get really, really hurt. So you always have hard hats on. All right. Other questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.